Whoa.
and welcome to Overlanders That Are Now. I'm Tom Bingle here with my co-host Jim King. Doc, how you doing?
Well, not as ebullient as you, but I'm doing great. Thanks, Banks.
Jimmy, I'm kind of pumped up. Last week you interviewed me about what I did after we parted ways in Paris, and this week, Doc, I get to interview you on what you did
Uh-oh.
post Paris.
Oh,
You
geez.
ready for that one, Doc?
No, I don't know. It depends on what you're going to ask, but sure, let's give it a go.
All right, okay, great. Jimmy, let me set up things just a bit. We had finished
Okay.
traveling, just wonderfully for 2 months.
Hmm.
We had that final memorable, last night in Paris.
Ooh,
Uh, We might have been overserved, but
just a
the
tad.
Parisians were paying for our wine at the end, Doc. It was great. And at around 6 a.m., I'll never forget. Ooh, I looked up, boom, boom, there you were, Jimmy, dressed, backpack on, and bye-bye. You departed. Wow. And what were your thoughts when you left the hostel or what that pension I think we were staying, Jimmy? What were your thoughts?
I got to find a place that sells aspirin at 6 o'clock in the morning. No, no, actually, as I wrote in the blog, I was having a severe case of regret, second thoughts,
Mm, yeah.
self-doubt, you know.
Huh. Yeah, Jimmy, that surprised me. Since you seem, so determined with your
Yeah,
decision to go
was.
back, to the States and try to write a novel. Jimmy, what do you think led to those second thoughts? Why? I don't, huh?
Well, I think the realization that the trip we had planned and worked so
Yeah,
hard for was over.
yeah, I can
And
hear
and
that.
I started wondering, what's the hurry? Why did I need to get back? We were 22 at the time, I think.
Hmm.
And I figured, hey, I'm going to be working the rest of my life. Why not travel more, right?
Yeah. Oh, Jimmy. So even with those doubts, you kept going on
Yeah.
to England, right,
Mhm.
Jimmy? I think, yeah. Then the journal entry that you wrote on your way really hit me, Doc. Really hit me. If you don't mind, I would just love to share these words, because they're so appropriate. Because I never forget, Jim, you're taking the train to Gare du Nord, beautiful landscape out there, and the sun is shining. And I think off in the distance, there's a lady doing some farming and working hard. And you wrote this, Jim. It was just a magic moment. You wrote this. Um, Here we go. I kept thinking to myself, I have to stay. I have to say, I have to stay for a few more months, Doc. Wow. So obviously, Jim, you wanted to stay.
Yeah,
Did
that's
your
a
second
good
thoughts
conclusion there,
diminish?
Banks. I'm sorry, what was your question?
Yeah, 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 Jimmy, yeah. Brilliant, Jim. Doc. But once you got to the UK, did these second thoughts diminish?
Oh no, no, actually they intensified.
Wow.
You remember the village, it's so bucolic
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and I had a wonderful Christmas with
Yep.
my brother and his
Yep.
family and met friends, even went on a hunting trip, in which case I was the retriever, even though they were
Yeah.
foolish enough to give me a shotgun. But it just made me wonder again, why head back? Why not stay a little bit
Yeah.
longer, explore more? But then reality set in. I was broke
Yeah.
and had probably overstayed my welcome. So I ended up heading home. And actually, I think even though I wanted to stay, I think I was driven. I don't know what
Yeah.
was driving me, but I felt I got to get this over with. I got to go and try to
Yeah.
write that novel.
Yeah, and yeah, I got it. But interesting, Doc. Then over the Atlantic. I love it. Over the Atlantic. Then we get our second
Yeah.
famous quote
Hmm.
here.
Hmm.
And I would love, Jimmy, as I said, this is something that I think should be for every freshman college English blackboard. As
Yeah.
you write, on these second thoughts, it says, but interesting point. Please don't let me forget. Let me remember the little details, the people and let me come back, Doc, and let me come back. Wow,
Well,
Jimmy.
your reading of the journal is much more profound than the actual words. Yeah,
No, I don't know,
but
Jim. It's great.
it's kind of funny because my writing teacher had suggested I keep a writing journal, and I
Mm-hmm.
did. And oh, it's funny that you're reading this because on the front of all my journals,
Yeah.
per her instruction, you should write just so you open up. If, in the event of my death, please
Okay.
destroy without reading. And here you are reading to our 1.2 million followers, right? So,
Uh,
but
yeah. Well,
no, I guess, keeping a journal is so important because
yeah.
it's
Yes. Hmm.
I was able to look back on it even today and remember a lot of
Hmm.
things that I'm sure I would have forgotten.
Yeah.
In fact, some of the things that I wrote in there, I even reading them again, I can't remember faces and certain
Yes. Yeah.
places, but
Yeah.
it's a rush to look back on those. So I guess I had decided, according to that entry, one way or the other, that I was going to go back someday, definitely.
Great, Jim. Great.
Yeah.
Wow. Foreshadowing. But Doc, now here,
Nice way
let's
to look
talk
at
about your arrival back in the States.
it. Okay.
You landed in New York,
Right.
right? Yeah. And Jimmy, interesting. After these two intense, immersive months, I mean, we were really down with the people and everything. It was just really exciting. But Jimmy, did you feel any different, after being away, coming back to the States?
I think so. I think I don't know exactly how to describe it, but
Yeah.
well, there was a when I got to JFK and went to the taxi stand to get a cab for the ride into New York, decided to. I had met a Swedish gentleman waiting also, and an American couple waiting, so we decided to carpool in, cab pool or whatever.
Hmm.
And the cabbie had suggested a flat fee instead of using the meter, and we all agreed to it. But when we got to Times Square, which is where he dumped us all off, the American couple raised a bit of a ruckus and wouldn't pay what
Wow,
he was.
Jim, really?
Yeah, yeah, he paid a little bit less. He said, I know how this works. I was a cabbie. You should have been using the meter. And,
Wow.
the Swede and I were standing there like, wow, we
Wow,
made an
Jim.
agreement here. And the Swede paid and I paid what we had agreed to. And it just, for some reason, I think I could get a better understanding of how we looked to Swedes and other people coming into America faced with that kind of attitude. It was kind of embarrassing. It was
Yeah.
embarrassing. But
Yeah, Jim,
anyway,
isn't that?
you
Yeah.
know, I made my way from Times Square over to the
Yeah.
Port Authority to catch the bus for Cleveland. And remember, this is 78. The
Yep.
Port
Yep.
Authority bus terminal was not exactly the cleanest or safest place in New York.
I'll be darned, Jimmy, because that's funny because I remember, day one of our trip flying from Johns Hopkins over to New York.
Yeah.
Both of us were kind of little going to New York. That's such a kind of rough and tumbling city. But yeah, Jimmy, but you survived,
Yes,
obviously, the
I did.
re-entry.
Right. Yeah, I'm surprised I survived the bus ride actually,
Yeah.
because it
Jim,
was
yeah.
overnight. I
Yeah,
think it was like a
unbelievable.
12-hour ride. I mean, it was interminable. Smoking was allowed. This is pre no smoking
Yep.
days.
Hmm.
And I don't know, a ton of
Wow, Jim.
stops. There are just so
Yeah.
many. So I was really relieved to finally get to downtown Cleveland and then make my way home to Lakewood.
Wow. Wow,
So,
Jimmy. And Jimmy, then here, what were those final, those thoughts, if you can remember, when you finally crossed your threshold and walked to your house there in Lakewood, Doc? I mean, such a moment, monumental moment. Can you have anything,
yeah, it
recollect
wasn't
or?
it, it wasn't monumental, or I'd remember it. I don't remember actually, the moment I got home. I
Yeah.
don't know who
Yes.
was
Okay.
home or whatever. As you
Yeah.
know, I have a big family, so. But I do know that somewhere between England and Lakewood,
Yeah.
I set two goals. First, I'm going to
Oh,
write that
interesting.
damn novel, and second,
Yeah.
I'm going to earn enough money to go back.
I'll be darned, Jim. Really?
Yeah,
Jimmy,
right off
really,
the
that's
bat.
something. Well, I mean, everybody knows, maybe from this blog that you were able to get back, Doc.
Yeah, you and I.
Um, so boom, boom, we knocked that off. But then, Jim, the second question is, are you ready? But were you able to accomplish the first goal, Doc, of
Well,
writing a novel?
Yeah, well, thanks to that writing professor I mentioned, Liz
Uh-huh.
Chrisman, I did. Yeah, as a matter of
You
fact, it
sweet,
was
Jim.
the first of several unpublished novels. I mean, it would take a long time before I got one of those actually published, but yeah, I did. So,
I'll be darned, Jim.
yeah.
Oh, I want to talk a lot more about that, Doc, but we'll save it for the next video.
Okay.
All right, Jimmy. So, last question.
Hmm.
You ready for this one? Do you
Yes.
still regret leaving Europe that first time? You know, when you did. Do you still regret that, Jim?
No, no.
Oh, real?
I
Okay.
did immediately, but not now. No, of course not. I mean, you know, I don't regret it because life unfolded in a really wonderful way for me, and it wouldn't have happened
Yeah.
if I hadn't left. So,
Yeah.
and what's the point of living with regret anyway, right?
hmm hmm
It
hmm
just keeps you from moving forward.
Yeah. I'll be darned, Jim. Good insight, my friend. Good
Why,
insight.
thank you.
Well, Doc, now speaking of moving forward, are you ready?
Hmm.
This is kind of end of part one. Now, when we get together next time, Jim, are you ready? You know, we're post, Paris.
Right?
However, we'll talk about our preparation for our next trip, Jim, and
Yes.
how we happen to meet up, ready? In Cairo, Cairo, Egypt. Of all places, Doc, that's where we're planning to meet up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty amazing. Well, that sounds good, Binks.
All right, great, Jimmy. Great. So for everyone watching, thank you. And until next time,
Cheers, everyone.
goodbye, everyone.